Alright, today I'm going to talk about online games that I played when I was a kid. Now, if you're new here, Casino's just ring the bell. So, I used to play a lot of, online games, when I was younger. Because, we didn't really have, game consoles that much. I mean, we had, the Wii and stuff like that. But I kind of wanted to talk about a few websites and specific standalone games that were mainly online, and I got wanted to talk about it. So yeah, let's get started. So the first one is Mushy Monsters. So this is probably the first online Flash game that I can remember that wasn't connected to any kind of TV network or anything that I was really addicted to. Well, maybe not addicted, but I played it all the time. And it was cool because it was kind of what I really liked back then, customizing your own kind of character and stuff. And actually the character that I did, I remember it to this day, was the Diablo one that kind of looked like a devil type of thing. I thought it just looked cool at the time, but it's kind of weird because when I chose that character back then, we were kind of a little bit more of a religious family, so my mom wasn't too excited for me to choose that character because she did set it up for us. But I went along with it anyway. But that was the character I used, and it was a freaking awesome game. I mean, to be fair, sometimes when I've revisited stuff when I was older with the same game, it didn't age well, but back then I just remember loving it, so I kind of want to keep those memories. Or I can, because the game closed down, I think back in 2019 when Flash was starting to kind of being phased out. When Flash closed and Flash got discontinued, it took a lot of things with it, so I guess they just couldn't survive. I mean, I actually heard that they are working on a reboot, or maybe there already is one, but I haven't checked a lot on it. And actually, when I revisited it a little bit before, because there was a time, probably 2017 or so, that I did go back to my old account just to check, and my guy was almost dead. Up until that point, it was probably 3 or 4 or 5 years since I last logged into it, but my guy was so sad. It was he was starving, he literally was thirsty, it was really bad. And it's kind of sad because it did kind of feel like a virtual pet being just suffering, so I couldn't see it anymore. And I don't know if I deleted it or anything, but also what I noticed is that my username and password was not safe. And this was kind of back in the days to where, I mean, my parents weren't not knowledgeable about online games, but I mean, they didn't grow up with it. And that was really when the 2000s, early 2010s, when these online Flash games were happening. And my password, and it's probably not gonna matter anymore because it's closed, my username was Zion Clown, and my password was Clown Zion. That's literally how terrible my security was on that website. And yeah, it's probably fine that I share that because it no longer exists with the original version. But yeah, so I really love that game though. Number 2 is Cool Math Games. So this is probably my favorite website in terms of the fact that it literally doesn't have anything to do with math. It's just I mean, there are games that correlate to math that are related, but it's majority of just Flash games and stuff. I mean, all of it was pretty much Flash, but the really cool games were not math related at all. And what's interesting is that I usually played it when I had time in school, because people and kids when I was younger, right around my age, would try to sneak playing it in class. I was not that brave. It's just and honestly, with online games like that, I was not really rebellious that much. Well, except one that I'll mention later on this list. But yeah, so some of the games that I really liked were Run, Run 2, and Block Source, I think it was called, where you would try to fit this kind of rectangle into the hole for each one. And yeah, I just really liked a lot of these games. Actually, out of every single kind of website on here, it probably has the best selection of any online Flash game I've seen in my life. So it just had really cool ones. The only one that I really hated was The World's Hardest Game. For people who don't know what this is, and it's a little bit blurry details for me, it's basically where you try to I don't know if it's you move a dot, but you try to get through these tight moving obstacles and stuff. I think this was literally one of the first games I've ever raged at. I mean, it wasn't in school. I liked playing it. It was addicting, but I hated how hard it was. I couldn't even get past like freaking round 1 or round 2. Actually, probably round 3 was probably the max I could make it through. And also, I remember this one kid in school would literally make it so far, and I'm like, how did this guy do this? And honestly, now that I think about it, he probably had nothing else to do, so that's what he did. But yeah, so shout out to that guy, because there's no way I could do that now, or even now, because like I'm still not even great at online games or video games in general. Number 3 is PBS Kids games. So this is basically the kind of Flash games kind of where it was on the PBS Kids website. I really have a special connection to PBS Kids because when we were younger, we didn't have cable. So we didn't grow up with, we grew up with a little bit SpongeBob with like the DVDs and stuff. But in terms of like watching on-air television, I didn't grow up with Cartoon Network at all, basically. And maybe Disney Channel a little bit, but it was mainly PBS Kids. And yeah, so there were a lot of cool websites on there. And probably one of the things I remember the most about it is a really cool interface to where when I played it at the time, it was kind of like this wheel where like you would kind of scroll through left and right, and like the characters' kind of faces would be on like these circle icons, and you could click it and it would go to your game. A couple of the games I played on there was, I think there was one where like it was like I don't know if it was like Elmo. There was Elmo went to school, but there was also one where like Elmo was sick or something like that, and I played that one a lot. And the one that I remember playing, and I just looked this up recently, was Feed Nochi. So basically, this was a game from the show Curious George, where you would feed this cat, I think it's like the chef's cat or something, and you would like feed it like meatballs and stuff. And I was obsessed with this game. This was probably my favorite one. But yeah, I really liked a lot of the games. And actually, I might do PBS Kids as his own video, because Curious George, I did watch it. My brother did watch it more than me though. I probably stopped watching PBS Kids like right before Wild Kratts. I watched it sometimes, but the only reason why I watched Wild Kratts and I played a couple of the games because for some reason I had a crush on Aviva. But yeah, so there were a lot of cool games and I really loved it. So yeah. So number 4 is Happy Wheels. So Happy Wheels is quite an adventure. So when I was younger, this was around 2015, 2016, around when I found out about it. And I found out about it from Jacksepticeye. Now, Jacksepticeye is the GOAT. Like, he is probably one of the YouTubers, my favorite YouTubers I've ever watched. I don't know if I watch as much of his stuff nowadays, but when I was young, I used to watch his Happy Wheels series all the time. I literally think I watched about half or over half of the videos that he did on it. Like, I loved it. So, I found about it from him, and, like, looking back at it now, I knew it back then a little bit, it's pretty violent. Like, I'm surprised that, like, I was kind of able to handle the violence, because I was a sensitive kid back then. Like, I didn't really play a lot of, like, horror games or anything. Well, I was only 12 or 13, but, like, I just really got sensitive when it came to gore and stuff. But for some reason, it didn't bother me with Happy Wheels. Also, I kept it a secret. I did not tell anyone except maybe my siblings, or specifically my brother. But yeah, so it was really freaking violent, but I loved it. It's just, I loved kind of like the creative levels that people would do. I would mainly play like other people's levels that they would post. But the thing is also, is that the school back then, when I went to it, knew about it. They knew about how gory and kind of inappropriate it was, but they couldn't do crap, because back then it was not very common to have like school blocking software, like you could block like violent things. Like back then, it was the freaking Wild West when it came to like people looking up like inappropriate things without the school blocking. The worst one out of that is not even Happy Wheels. I saw freaking 2 girls, 1 cup. Not voluntary. This guy told me to do 2 girls, 1 cup. It's literally the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even exaggerating. So, like, I was a little bit rebellious, a little bit with playing these games, but once that happened, I was just like, nope, I'm done with that. Yeah, so it was crazy back then with, like, the fact that they couldn't censor things. And, yeah, so, but other than that, I did play Happy Wheels a lot. Actually, I think that's actually one of the few games that I know of that still exist, kind of. even when Flash was discontinued. I might have to check on that again because it's been a few years ago since I heard about that. But yeah. And the last one is Chuck E. Cheese games. So this was probably the one that was probably the oldest out of this entire list. Yeah, because like when I did the Chuck E. Cheese games, back then it was just kind of more fun, and I really do like the Chuck E. Cheese's around my time more than now, and I've talked about that many times. But yeah, like even though I rarely went to Chuck E. Cheese's, because like even before the pandemic and stuff, it was kind of like Germ City, and my parents weren't at that, they didn't really like that. But I mean, we had a few birthday parties, but like we wouldn't go there regularly. But yeah, so even though I rarely went to the restaurant, I just loved all the characters, and I still kind of do. Like I loved all the website games and stuff. A few ones that I did really love were the skateboard one, where like you would kind of like go through like obstacles with Chuck E. Cheese on the skateboard. But my favorite one is the skee ball one, and I love this one. This is actually probably one of my favorite Flash games that like is a standalone game from like a series of like other games that I've ever played. I just really love it. And actually what's cool about this one is that you can win tickets. You can literally win, I think, up to like 50 tickets. I mean, that's not very much even back then, but you could like win tickets to admit or redeem to a restaurant, which I thought that was really cool. Like at the time, and I still think that's pretty cool. Like, and that's when they used back then, when they used physical tickets. And also, like, when I didn't play it as much anymore, like, they still accepted those online tickets up until, like, 2015 or so. My location was pretty late in terms of, like, getting, like, the digital cards and stuff. But back then, it was all physical. And I would use that whenever the few times that we did go to Chuck E. Cheese. I also did play it on my channel a few years ago. And, like, actually, it's probably one of the first videos I did when I returned to my channel. And I just really had fun with it. Like, I mean, I probably would do that video better now. I probably wouldn't have as much like background music and stuff because it was pretty loud. But like, I really loved those games even back then. And I still love them now. Like, they just really had a lot of creativity under them. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm trying to make a lot of videos as much as I can with quantity and quality before I leave for Six Flags. And I might have a little bit of a hiatus there because I need to edit all that footage. But I kind of want to talk about these. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.